Honorable jury, the first will be one of them will be Mr. Santoflu. Is there? The next, Miss Cynthia Clemens. The next, Miss Lilia Akimova. The next, Mr. Daniel Schweister. The next, Miss Katia Orlova. Next is Miss Susana Zimmerova. And the last but not the least, Miss Victoria Jones. Thank you. As far as I remember, we will know that
Will we disinform?
I'm ready. Proposition team. Have you got a timekeeper?
To be a
I'll be the timekeeper.
Well, yes. Сейчас.
Опытный.
Дайте и часы, и телефон.
The gentleman.
Телефон дайте. Дайте кто-то телефон. Imagine that flat, where 3 rooms, you have television, you have computer, you have very big kitchen, you have great bathroom. You can live there for free for 21 years. Would you like to live in that kind of apartment? Do you know what you have to do for that? You have to kill 77 children, innocent, in Norway. In Norwegian summer camp. I am talking about Anders Breivik, ladies and gentlemen. In Europe there is now no capital punishment, and because of that, Breivik, who killed 77 children in summer camp, he just staying in this flat for 21 years. Dear ladies and gentlemen, today we will talk about a very actual topic which sounds like this house supports death penalty, and we absolutely agree with this motion. Because we are going to achieve, as our criteria sounds, prosperity, welfare and safety of society. And only one way for achieving it is supporting the death penalty. My name is Gustav Anvar. I'm the first speaker of Team Proposition. Our second speaker is Arzi, and our third speaker is Maxim. So our definition is capital punishment. It's a legal process whereby a person is put to death by the state as punishment for a crime. The juridical degree that someone be punished in the manner is a death sentence, while the actual process of killing the person is an execution. This topic is sweeping actual because it is well-known fact that tendency of crime level increasing is being observed, and something should be done to stop this, dear ladies and gentlemen. We have three main arguments. First of all, it is financial aspect. Secondly, it is potential threat for society. And our third argument sounds like prevents committing a crime as a result of revenge. So, about our first and second argument, I will talk by myself, and our third argument will open RZ. So, let's start from our first argument, which sounds like financial aspect. Opponents of the death penalty prefer to ignore the fact that they themselves are responsible for its high cost by filling a never-ending succession of these, ladies and gentlemen. Why should the taxpayer bear the cost of supporting a martyrs? Wouldn't you better give this money for studying the children, for studying of your children, dear ladies and gentlemen? Let's look at the numbers. $500,000 for each year should be spent to provide life of prisoners, dear ladies and gentlemen. This includes their food, living place, personnel responsible for them, etc. The big amount of money, and it is when a procedure of death sentence costs just $10,000, dear ladies and gentlemen. We should think about it deeply. And this, we took this information from the research of John Brown, Boston University, ladies and gentlemen. It was made in the previous year. So, secondly, crime such as murder or ought to be crime such as murder ought to be punished, and the best punishment for such a crime, a capital punishment, dear ladies and gentlemen. There are claims that when capital punishment is meted out, it prevents possible prisoners from committing such crimes again, dear ladies and gentlemen. Serious crime requires serious punishment, and we agree with this. And when a potential criminal fears her life, dear ladies and gentlemen, they will stay away from such crimes. As a result, the rate of crime in the society will reduce and decrease, dear ladies and gentlemen. And only a way of achieving it is supporting death penalty, dear ladies and gentlemen. When a criminal is sentenced to jail time, he or she, I'm talking about the murder, spends years just living in prison, and it is better to put killers to death instead of letting them commit horrible crimes, commit murders again and again, dear ladies and gentlemen. If a person takes away another person's life without remorse, then her or his life should also be taken away. Such person has no right to keep living. Dear ladies and gentlemen, let's pass to our second argument, which sounds like potential threat for society. To understand how important policy of death penalty can be, we should find out who can be justified in such way. We cannot kill the people because of a single case. That's why, dear ladies and gentlemen, killers, terrorists, murders of postmen should be highly justified, dear ladies and gentlemen. So, now again, numbers will show the situation. In 2009, Stephen Layson, University of North Carolina, presented her research in which she showed the graph. It showed us that one death sentences determined 8 murders, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine such a potential threat was destroyed? And if you would like to talk about innocent people, there is information that many more innocent people have been killed by, let's say, parallel or escaped murders that innocent people killed, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's say, our judgment system is not, let's say, ideal, and we can't put murders, we can't put killers in prison, ladies and gentlemen, because they are just staying there, they are just, let's say, eating food. What? They are just eating food, they are just staying, they are just living in prison. So, ladies and gentlemen, after the prison, they are just going and killing and murdering again and again. It is unacceptable. It is inhumane, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's talk about our third argument. I will just cover it, and RZ will talk more and more about this argument. We'll open this deeply. People think, our third argument sounds like prevents committing a crime. This house supports death penalty because it prevents committing a crime as a result of revenge, ladies and gentlemen. So, why we should support death penalty? Because if somebody kill another people, we should take life of this killer, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if he made this, let's say, consciously, ladies and gentlemen, we should take his life too, ladies and gentlemen. The principle of capital punishment is that certain crimes deserve nothing less than death as a just effective response. Murderers forgot their rights as humans the moment they take away the right of another human, ladies and gentlemen. And it is true. And very often people try to make a revenge. It is in our nature and we can't fight it, have to admit. But death penalty will help us to make not revenge, and it will help us to avoid revenge, ladies and gentlemen. It will legalize the punishment that is furious, the justice that people seek, ladies and gentlemen. So, to sum up, I want to say that all arguments that were presented were proving the criteria, and the criteria value is justice, ladies and gentlemen. The only one way for achieving our criteria, the only one way for achieving prosperity, the only one way for achieving welfare and safety of society, it is supporting, it is providing death penalty, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman, opponents, timekeeper, and guests. I'm the first speaker of our team Pandora, Pasha is the second speaker, and Vanya is the third speaker. Today we get to discuss about the problem that is a global scale. People do not tend to think about the problem before it touches them personally, but it is a problem of all of us and must be spoken. That is why we gather here today to discuss about this topic. Should be capital punishment be legal? Our house said that capital punishment mustn't be legal. I will start from the refutation of opposite team arguments. So this team has said that there is financial problems with the prisons, such as prisons in Holland, where criminals can live like rich people. But we mustn't make a capital punishment, because we can make strict columns where criminals will work and then provide money to government.
Point of information, please.
And I would say our criteria. The death penalty has no deterrent effect and influence on the criminals, and therefore does not guarantee the reduction of crime in society. And I will tell our arguments. Our first argument is judicial error can affect innocent. That is, the company has not yet established a justice that would work without errors. And with the death penalty may inevitable affect innocent. And in the history of different countries, have been causes justifying innocent after the courts, and they are punished by the death penalty. Such cases have been in the United Kingdom and Belgium, and in Turkey, China, Pakistan, and Ukraine, and etc. In all countries in the world, for example, after the wars, after some crimes, many people were innocently killed. No. The second main argument is that the death penalty is still no deterrent effect and influence on potential criminals. That is, most often with 80–90% of the offender is not considering his crime. All this occurs in a state effect. Once the offender committed the crime, he realizes that he has nothing to lose, and it also does not stop him from being able to continue doing such things. And the third argument, the death penalty does not guarantee the reduction of the crime. No, thank you. There have been numerous case studies, surveys, and they all came to the conclusion that the death penalty does not reduce crime in society. Society cannot be pleased of such people. Conversely, if the death penalty is revenge, it tolerates death. This entails more terrible and horrible crimes. Even academicians who opposed the death penalty in the former Soviet Union said that the existence of the death penalty dehumanizes society, and this penalty provides for the creation of a special apparatus performers institute death penalty. Today, no such institution exists. There is.
Information, please.
Okay.
Don't you think that killing of 77 children in Norwegian by, let's say, Norway, by Breivik, it is innormal, it is unhumane?
But if we will do death penalty, I don't think that other criminals will stop doing their crimes, and if we will do death penalty, as we have said before, that criminals will do crimes because they would think that it's nothing to lose. No such institution exists. There is, but it's not advertised and it does not say. It's not been debated, it's not about debated at the official level. This all set up in public, so to speak, space. How to use the death penalty? This is how this society. It is known that in country where it has been introduced, there have been no referendum. That is, people do not ask you for or against the death penalty, and it was administered for human reasons, which begs the conclusion here. In England, more than half of the population support the death penalty, but the government officially declares categorically that the country opposes the death penalty in all circumstances. Each country's government is introducing legislation that came out of his political system of moral, sociological factors, as well as religious, of course. And often the country is still practicing dictatorship, reversing the right to death. Why not a referendum is held in a democratic country? Because I think are afraid of the results of referendum. In that case, you need to follow the results of the referendum and to create an necessary legislation and necessary legislative processes.
One place.
No, thank you. For example, in England, more than half of the population support Congress. No, thank you. I said 54% of people support this penalty in the United Kingdom, and 30% do not support it. As a matter of principle, the death penalty undermines human dignity, and there is no compelling evidence today that any miscarriage of justice will not result in irreparable nature of actions. Even in this case, the principle life is the biggest and the main value of the person, and the existence of the death penalty is a violation of basic human rights. The second reason why the United Kingdom is a member of the European Union and the Council of Europe and is obliged to comply with legal, moral, ethical norms and be an example for other countries as a model of democracy. So I hope that you understand that a death penalty is a method by which other humans will be not human at all. So we mustn't do a death penalty as this.
Type of punishment.
violates human rights. Humanity, according to the reckless murderers, is a lack of humanity according to their victims. These were the words from the famous Greek philosopher Denis. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about death penalty today, and by letting murderers who kill thousands of people, those terrorists who kill hundreds and thousands of people, by letting them live, we just deprive those victims their right to live, dear ladies and gentlemen. So, today we are talking on the very interesting topic, which is this House supports death penalty. I would like to start from the counter-argumentation. First of all, our main value, our main criteria is justice. We are not talking about just revenge, we are talking about justice. And we hope that everyone here agrees that justice is above everything. So, there were three main arguments from the side of the opposition today, and there are that death penalty can affect innocent people. But we all know that it doesn't happen just you see a person and you know that maybe there are some proofs, maybe there are not, and someone just goes there and say, oh, this person killed some people, okay, let's kill him. It does not happen in that way. There are many people who are trying to know, who are trying to find out whether this person deserves that kind of punishment, whether not. So, if we do that in the right way, if we do that with the whole procedure of sentencing people to the death penalty, we cannot affect innocent people. But letting those people, letting those murderers live, you can affect lives of millions innocent people who those people can kill in their future life, dear ladies and gentlemen. So, the second argument was about that death penalty does not influence on the crime level. So, actually, what was this information taken from? So, we cannot say whether it is true or not. So, we can say that it actually influences, because if you see an example of how people are executed, if you see an example what are people sentenced to, and you see that and you understand that you would not do this crime anymore because you know that if you do that you will be executed. So it's a good motivation, actually not motivation, demotivation from doing this kind of crime. So, and also the first speaker of the opposition team told us about the death penalty, that in the bad effect that actually the death penalty does not stop other people from doing some criminals, from doing some crimes, but actually at least this kind of punishment, it prevents those people from doing more and more and more crimes, dear ladies and gentlemen, and it is very serious, it is very important. So, and also there was an information about the referendum, and as we understood, most of the people of the England, and it was said from the opponent's speech, so 54% of those people, they support death penalty. So it also gives us a reason to think that death penalty actually people support the death penalty. And by the beginning of their speech, our opponent said that it is easy to talk about the problem until this problem touches you. So, and I'm sure that everyone in this room, everyone from the audience, everyone from the judges, if his relatives, if his parents, or if his a friend, he would be killed by those murderers, you will stay and you will try to persuade everyone that that people, that murderer should be punished, dear ladies and gentlemen. And this is up to you. And you just think about that. And think and try to understand. And I'm sure that everyone would agree with us. So talking about our team line. So actually we are here today to talk and to support death penalty because of our criteria, which is the prosperity, safety, and welfare of the society. And welfare of society and the prosperity of society can be reached only by executing those people who can do some really, really bad harm for that society. So there are three main arguments from our side. These are financial aspect, because when you keep people in the prison, you just pay for their living, and you could spend that money to doing some to doing some good things, but not to letting those people live, and they are actually living on your cost, and all of their payments they are on you, and you pay some money, and even those people whose relatives were killed by that person, they pay for his future life. Do you think it's okay? Our second argument is about potential threat for society. Those murderers, they really are some potential threat for the society, and we will let them live. For example, as it was with an example of the rape Breivik in Norway. How can we be sure that after that 21 years which he would spend in his very comfortable prison, which is actually a three-room apartment, how can we be sure that after this 21 years he would not commit any crime anymore? Dear ladies and gentlemen. So, and about our third argument, this house supports death penalty because death penalty actually prevents committing a crime as a result of revenge. As I told before, our main value of our today's debate, our main value of our today's game is justice. We are not talking about just blind revenge. We are talking about justice, and we know that revenge actually is blind. And let's imagine that someone from your surrounding is killed, and you want this person to be punished. And if you want this person to be punished, you will try to do some bad things. You will try to execute him in a horrible way. But what do we mean by that death penalty, which would happen by the help of the government? We mean just an injection, which is actually a silent death. And those people who are trying to find a revenge, they're trying to do some bad things. They're trying to cut that person for a piece. They're trying to grab his eyes, they're trying to grab his hair out. Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's humane? So, that death penalty prevents committing a crime as a result of revenge. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, we cannot let people who are killing other people to live. Dear ladies.
Ladies and gentlemen, I heard was said our opposite team, and I think of their speech that we don't need prisons. Why we need prisons if we will kill all of the prisoners? While we need prisons if we will kill all crimes that that you think we need to kill? No, we don't need prisons to be humanist. We need prisons to teach them. We need prisons to re-teach the prisoners. Most of all, more than 19% of prisoners don't end the standard education. Thank you. I heard my opponent's team and then said that people who stayed in the prison after the 20, like Breivik, after the 21 year of the after 21 year in the prison, they will return to crime life. No, because of the morning journal said to us, yes,
So, you said that we cannot be sure that after that 21 years that Breivik would not commit any crime. Actually, if I was Breivik, and if I had such a comfortable facility, I would do crime just to live in those comfortable facilities.
Do you think that Breivik wants to live in a room with 5 on 4 meters? No, I think he wants the freedom. It's my own opinion. As the morning journal said to us, that more than 15% of or more than 50% of prisoners wants to go not to end their crime life after they go in the prison, because prisons in our world works good. Well, on the other hand, you said that it isn't humane to kill 77 scholars. Well, in the Cultural Revolution in the China, there was killed 100 million people, and they all was killed by the law, which say to the Chinese that they can kill the killers. Yes.
So your example is just irrelevant because we're talking about the death penalty actually and what is the protection. I think that your example is just irrelevant because it has no connection with our scene.
I said that there was law that they make the Chinese. The another one going to our arguments. Our the death penalty is still no different effects and influence on potential criminals. Since several of the most leading criminologists in the country found that overwhelming majority didn't believe that the death penalty is proven different homicide. 88% of the country's top criminologists do not believe that the death penalty acts different homicide. According to the new study published of the Journal of Criminal Law and Criminology and authors to the Professor Michel Redlet, chair of the Department of Sociology of the University of the Colorado Boulder, and Drake Leplock, also Boulder. You have a point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On the first point. So you were talking about the Chinese law which said to kill people, but we're talking about the death penalty, which is actually a kind of punishment for those who commit crime.
Okay, this 100 millions was crimes. I don't say this.
Yeah, you didn't say.
Oh, sorry. Okay. If you said something about the crimes that will be after they go into the freedom, kill another people, even they going after the prison. But we said that if their crimes want to kill people, that killing them in like a punishment will not stop them.
Warren, please.
Yes.
How are you going to kill people after you are dead?